Hello and welcome, as always, to Build-A-Bot. Welcome to our series on Power Virtual Agents and getting the most out of it. With me, as always, is Kent Weir. Say hello, Kent.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today.
So today we're going to be focusing on a topic that is a feature that's been in PVA for a fair while, actually, and is quite a big feature, but we've not talked about it before. So we're going to be talking about Power Virtual Agents in Teams. And to do that with us, we have Michael Chow from the Power Virtual Agents product team. So Michael, welcome aboard.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all. And I'm Michael Chow. I'm the product manager from Power Virtual Agents Group, leading the PVA and Teams integration. Really excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Matt and Kent.
No worries. See, I was going to ask you now to introduce yourself, but you've done a really good job about it. So we can just move on. Do you want to tell us a bit about PVA and Teams and why I suppose everybody who's using Power Virtual Agents should really know about it?
Yeah, absolutely. And let's dive right in. Our virtual agents in Teams is an integration that we launched last November. And really all it's about is to democratize, bot building with Power Virtual Agents right inside Microsoft Teams. With this integration, what we've really done is basically all Teams user can build chatbots with Power Virtual Agents in Teams for free with their Microsoft Teams license. And as part of this integration, we brought the PVA no-code bot building studio experience right inside to Microsoft Teams. So you can always stay in Microsoft Teams while you're building your bots and there's no context switching required. The other big integration that we brought along with this feature is to allow you to have transparent Teams identity and authentication integrated. And so you don't need to worry about how to know who is talking with your bot. Instead, all this information of your end user is already available to you when you're building bots in Teams. And so you can build personalized bots, provide customized responses, and take meaningful actions based on who the bot is talking with. And then, one of the things that I think most of our, customers really enjoy a lot is how great, PVA is integrated with Power Automate, our sister team, because a bot is really truly valuable when it can take meaningful actions. And we're happy to share that, with this integration, customers can build Power Automate flows right inside of Power Virtual Agents Teams experience. So you don't really have to shift, back and forth between PVA and Power Automate. Instead, again, we brought the whole bundle package for authoring a very valuable bot to you right inside of Microsoft Teams. Last but not least, we really did a lot of work to make sure that it's super easy for people who build bots in Teams to publish the bots so that their target audience, whether it's their teammate or their employees in their organization, can easily use those bots. And so we're also happy to share that we brought in basically a one-click publish to allow your bots to show up in Teams App Store for everyone in your organization to find and use those bots. And so this is essentially really the nutshell of what the Power Virtual Agents in Teams integration that we bring to allow all the organization in subject matter experts to build bots with no code, no developer, and no data scientist background required.
What are people asking for team support? What sort of scenarios are they delivering when they're using Teams to use PVA with Teams as opposed to the other kinds of PVA bots that we have?
Yeah, that's a great question, Matt. Actually, I would say our customer has really surprised us. When we first set off to deliver this integration, we're really thinking to allow organizations to easily build HR, IT, or facility bots that really have the model of having kind of like a one subject matter expert group in the organization that wants to build a bot to serve everyone in their organization. And I would say we have seen quite a few customers actually going down that path. And the whole idea about PVA in Teams is that with the free license, we allow you to build these HR, IT bots to get them started and fully integrate with any Microsoft ecosystem tools you use, whether it's Office, SharePoint, or Dataverse part of Power Platform. Folks can build HR, IT, or this kind of org-wide bots easily with what's already offering Office license. Now, what's very interesting is that as we roll out this integration, we also start to see people having a lot of interest building bots just for their team. And so, one of the very common scenarios that we've heard about is, hey, I might have a team that does finance or accounting, and I would really like to have an FAQ bot that can really just answer common questions from my teammates. Because we all know that, when we work with our team, we spend a lot of time, asking questions and waiting for answers from our coworkers to provide to us. And so what we heard from a lot of customers and even big enterprise customers is, hey, now that with PVA, it being so easy to build bots in teams, they really now have the appetite to just not only build bots for their organization, but also build bots to make their team easier for those kind of knowledge management scenarios. And we've also started to see that, as the journey goes on, right, we like to joke around and say, the bot building journey never ends. And so what we really see is, a lot of customers like to start with this kind of knowledge management, FAQ style bots to answer some quick questions, but then they quickly start to think about what are the more processes or business processes that they can automate further with the bot. And so that's where then start to add more actions to the bot to take meaningful actions, right? It's not too hard to think, like using the example I gave earlier, if you had an FAQ bot for your finance team, you can quickly start to actually automate maybe some purchase order and automate, some of the polling scenarios that you want to do with PVA in Teams. And so all this is actually possible. Is really, I like to joke and say, really, once you start building the bot, you will find out that the world is really your oyster in terms of what scenarios you want the bot to cover.
Fantastic. You said something there that I'm going to pick up on because it was a very important phrase, but I don't know if people truly appreciated what you were saying. You said the words free license, which I suspect, a lot of people said, well, what does that mean? Can you just clarify what that means? This is Dataverse for Teams you're talking about here. Can you clarify what people actually get when you say that's free?
Yeah, absolutely. And Matthew, thank you so much for double clicking on this. So when I say free, I mean with any valid Office license that we have, which actually covers, I think, over 95% of the Office license out there. When you build a bot with PVA, you get a set of capabilities for free. And in the highest level, to define what those free capabilities are, you're able to basically build a bot in Microsoft Teams, and you let your end user use the bot in Microsoft Teams. You're also able to build the bot to use Power Automate actions that does not contain any premium connectors. And what that actually really translates to in the real world is basically anything that you want to connect to in terms of the Microsoft ecosystem is pretty much included as a basic connector. So a good example would be, if all you wanted to do was to create something in SharePoint or dump something into Excel, those things are totally doable with the free license. But in the case, if you have a more like a custom backend system or a third-party backend system that's outside of the Microsoft ecosystem, those typically would require a premium connector that is not included in the free license. But I'm happy to share that actually, by talking with our customers, most of the time they are able to get a relatively good bot solution with just the free license offering. But we absolutely also offer the ability to have a grow up story. And so when customer uses Power Virtual Agents in Teams, they'll realize that there's actually quite a few scenarios that they can upgrade their license to what we like to call a premium license. And what premium license does for you is basically remove some of these paywall limitations that I talked about earlier. Once you have a premium license with PVA, you can actually create a bot and deploy the bot to anywhere you want, just like you would do in PVA Web Portal. You can put the bot onto your website or onto Facebook, any other channels that we support. Now, of course, all the Power Automate Flow premium connectors will also be available to you. And you can also start to do pro dev integrations, such as using a bot framework Skills or using bot framework Composer along with PVA. And so these are the benefits that you get when you get your premium license. But when engaging with customers, I always like to recommend for them to always first consider what is the problem that they're trying to solve with their bot. And then let's see if there are ways we can get an MVP, a minimal viable product out there to solve their problem with just what's already offered in a free license. And as I mentioned a little earlier, I think I would say at least 70 to 80% of the customers that we talk with, most of the time what's in the free license is already able to solve 80% of the challenges they're seeing with their organization. And then once they have that rolled out, they tend to like to monitor how their bot is performing and then evaluate if there is a need to really go, grow up the bot to take on the more premium scenarios that requires premium licenses.
Gotcha. So I suppose it'd be useful just to clarify something you talked about there, because I think people maybe miss the importance. The free license, the Dataverse for Teams license you talk about, is almost the kind of ultimate Power Platform enabling makers story, where you give it to your employees, you give it to the people you work with, and they build bots. Some of them grow up. Some of them become wider organizational wide ones, but it really allows people to just try out the technology, use it in teams, and do that without incurring cost. That's what we talk about there. But then similarly, we can still deploy to teams from a premium Power Virtual Agent, but that includes premium connectors and can deploy to other channels. And that's really the differentiation between those two versions of the Teams experience. Is that an accurate summary?
Yeah, I think that's accurate. I think, Microsoft definitely, I like to joke and say sometimes we don't make licensing easy to be understandable. But, the reality is that, I would say folks who want to use PVA for the most part shouldn't be too concerned about the Dataverse license underneath, because we've done a great job integrating the Dataverse license with the corresponding PVA license. So to Matt's point, if you only use Office license, you get the Power Virtual Agents in Teams license, and you also get the Dataverse for Teams license already included in your Office license. When you do have a scenario that you want to build bots that are more advanced, that requires premium capability, what you would do is then you would go ahead and purchase Power Virtual Agents premium license, which also already includes the Dataverse premium license in there as well. So I would say for customers who want to use our solution, there shouldn't really be a need to go differentiate PVA license with Dataverse license. Instead, they're already really bundled really well together in this situation for you to build whatever bots that fits your need. One thing I do want to add though is I personally, and by talking with customers as well, we've seen, I want to just emphasize on the point that we've seen actually allow scenarios that are very doable with the free license, as we mentioned, right? Allow customers, they just want to build a bot to be using Teams, and everything that they want the bot to do is within the Microsoft ecosystem. And that's what the free license offers you to do. And so, we've seen quite a few customers are able to do this for like simple IT self-service bots, like ticketing, opening options, ticketing bots that take ticketing requests. Like we've seen these are very doable, considered when the customers are willing to do this all within the Microsoft ecosystem. Now, of course, to Matt, your point is there are also customers out there who say, hey, I have a separate custom backend, or I have some other third-party services that I'm using. And that's actually the most common scenario that we hear that they want to consider for a premium license, is if they want to connect to, like, say, maybe ServiceNow or SAP or other backend systems that they have. And
that's a fair point. It's not that you can't build anything without going for the premium license at all. That's an important point to call out. Yes. Yeah, I would say our mission is really to allow people to build meaningful, useful bots just with the free license by using all the tools that one Microsoft has to offer. And we welcome our customers to go above and beyond to do the premium, to use the premium capabilities to connect to their customer or third-party backend as well. Sounds good. Sounds about time we should jump into a demo and look at what it really looks like. Thanks, Matt. And let's dive into the demo. And so the very first thing to do when you want to use Power Virtual Agents in Teams is we need to find the Power Virtual Agents app. And you can easily do so by going to the Teams App Store and look and search for us. So by typing in Power Virtual Agents, you will see that the Power Virtual Agents app is already available in the Teams App Store. And it's really just as simple as adding the app for yourself. In this case, it shows open for me because I already installed this previously, but it's a one-click open here, and now you're in the Power Virtual Agents experience right inside of Microsoft Teams. What I really like to recommend to customers who will be using this frequently is consider to pre-pin this app on your left rail so you can always come back easily later on as well. In this case, I've already pre-pinned it, so that's why it's showing unpinned for me. And then once you're in this interface, it's really super easy to go ahead and build bots. We make it really easy for you on the Start Now button. And the immediate thing you're greeted by is that we will ask you which team would you like this bot to be created in. This is really great for two kinds of scenarios. It's great for the scenario where you want to build maybe like an org-wide bot. So for example, if you're building an HR bot or IT bot, in this case, you probably want to pick your HR team to own the bot. So all the people in the HR team will be managing and contributing to the content of the bot, but they can deploy it to everyone in the organization to consume it. Or the second scenario that also makes sense could be like the example we gave a little bit earlier, which is, let's say if I'm a finance team and I just want to build an FAQ bot for my finance team as well, you can also go ahead and pick a finance team in this example to do that. So this model that we have, it really works for both scenarios. And really creating a bot is just as easy as picking a team here. And as you can see, I have tons of teams here on my end. And for today's recording, I've
go down ahead and build a bot team for this particular demo, right? To save our time today, I'm actually not going to go through the full bot creation experience here. I've actually already gone ahead and pre-created bot already. But before we move off the screen, I just want to share a few things about Dataverse for Teams database and how it ties into this whole integration. One great thing to know is that whenever you create a bot in a team, if that team does not have a database yet, we will always go ahead and create a Dataverse for Teams database that's tied to that team. And this is a great free offering that we offer as part of the Office license, because a Dataverse database really allows you to build, to store and put your data into that database so that your bots can retrieve and access it later. A good example could be like, I will show later today is where, you have a bot that's taking escalation requests from customers, and they're able to store these escalation requests right inside of that database. So now you have the bot that's able to write into it and refine it later to provide updates to their end users. And the best part about Dataverse for Teams database is because it's bound to a team, you can also build other chatbots in this team, or you can build other Power Apps or even Power Automate workflow in the same team that can all interact with the same data you have in this team. And so that's a really powerful way to think about really using Power Platform as a whole for everything that your team wants to do within Microsoft Teams. All right, so with that, I'm going to shift gear here. I'm going to close this. I'm going to show another thing. As I mentioned that for today's demo, I already have a bot created. So we're going to go to the chatbots tab in the PVA application. This tab here is a great view that's going to show me all the bots that I've owned. And as you can see, I'm a bot building lover. So, I love building bots. So I have tons of bots over here. And so this basically shows me all the bots that I own. And it actually shows me all the bots I own across all the teams. So this is a really easy way for me to find the bots that I own, even though I might have created and own bots in different teams in Microsoft Teams. Now, for today's demo, we're going to go to build a bot team here on the left nav, and this is really going to show me the bots that's in the build a bot team today. And as folks can see, I already have an employee FAQ bot created. So now we're going to go into it and show you what this bot is about and show you what PVA in Teams could help you to create something like this, within just a few minutes. Okay. All right, so now we're in the Power Virtual Agents authoring experience. This is probably the most familiar view to folks who already use PVA. As you can see, it's the exact same experience that we have in the web portal. We have the same topic list and the no-code bot authoring tool here. But now I'm actually going to show you a few neat tricks that we have integrated particularly with Microsoft Teams to make the bots that you built in 10 for Teams to be more powerful. One of the things we know that the very first thing when we think about a bot is we actually want to go and look at its greetings, right? So we know that a bot's success actually 50% of the time is on the greeting because it shares the context of what the bot is meant for so the end user knows what the bot can do. One of the really cool things that we do here within PVA in the Teams integration is you can see that over here in this message node, I'm able to use a global variable called bot.userDisplayName. And really, this is a claim that we use when you build bots in Teams. Because PVA has transparent integration with the Teams authentication, you don't need to set up any authentication within PVA, but PVA automatically knows who's the answer chatting with the bot. So in this case here, this global variable will actually tell us who the end user is talking with the bot. And so if we were to try this out right now, if I were just to greet the bot by saying hi, you actually see the bot knows that I am actually Michael Chow. And it's really using this variable, this transparent authentication to know who I am. And besides just providing the bot display name here, we also provide the user ID, which is actually the AAD GUID of the user. So you can use that for other programming or action purposes as well in your bot. But all of this comes by default included in every single bot that you create in the Power Virtual Agents Teams application. There's no authentication setup, no AAD setup required. You get all of this by default when you have a bot created. Now then, the other thing that I would really like to show a little bit is to talk about the nice integration that we've done with Power Automate. And so in this employee FAQ bot that I pre-built here, one of the very important things that this bot does is actually the escalation path. And the reason for that is because, while a bot can have many, many different content and the bot can do many, many different actions, one thing that never changes is that a bot has some limitations. And when your end user reaches the limitation of what the bot can do, we tend to want to have a way to escalate to a real human so that those harder to solve problems can be assisted by the subject matter experts. And that has become the common pattern of any bots that people want to build. Whether it's a bot that you're building for B2C or a bot in Teams, that is the common pattern that we see everywhere. Now, because we're using Power Virtual Agents in Teams, one of the really cool things, a pattern that we've seen with our customer is most of the time they want escalation to happen in the context of Teams. And so in this example here today, I have a bot that actually pre-built with the ability to take the escalation request from the user, and then we will call a Power Automate flow that actually posts this escalation request into a channel so the subject matter experts can help them out. And if we look at this topic here, we're actually in the escalate system topic. And so if we go ahead and try this out, we can see that if I request a bot to say, I would like to talk to an agent, it's going to go ahead and trigger this escalate system topic here. And I can provide a title here. I'm going to say today's title is we're doing build a bot. Oops, there was a typo there. But I can also put in a description here and say, hey, we're doing a demo, right? And here you can see that this exact same experience as the one you have in PVA web portal. It actually goes ahead and launches this action node to post the message into a Teams channel, which we will look into it just in a second once we go to the end user facing experience. But before we go there, one thing I really want to show really cool in this demo is that the Power Automate action node here actually is fully integrated into Power Virtual Agents Teams experience. By clicking on the view flow detail, we're actually going to be able to load the flow content right inside of this view. So you can go ahead and modify your flow as you're building your bot. You don't need to go to your browser or go to powerautomate.com. Instead, I can easily come in here and have the full Power Automate flow builder experience right inside of Microsoft Teams. And this works for flows that you want to modify. It also works for flows that you want to create, right? So if I go ahead and close this flow here and simply go back to PVA, and if I go ahead and select the action node here, I will also see the option to create a new flow that will again bring me into the Power Automate experience right inside of PVA. So this is really a key integration that we've done to make sure that you don't need to switch your context. You can build your whole bot, including the action, right inside of Microsoft Teams. Now that we have, we've shown you really the cool integration that we've done in the authoring side, let me show you the feature that I personally like the most about this whole PVA Teams integration, which is making publish super easy for you. Let's say that I have the employee FAQ bot built and ready to go. One of the scenarios one of the features that I feel is the coolest part of this integration is how easy we make it for people to publish your bot into Microsoft Teams for themselves to use it and for their teammates to use it. And so by coming to the publish page here, you can see that we still have the same, one-click button to publish the content for bot. And so this still makes the draft content that you have in your authoring experience live for the end users out there. But the really beauty about this integration here is how easy we make it for you to share the bot with users in Microsoft Teams. Simply by selecting the share the bot option here, you can see that we launched a Microsoft Teams panel on here that offers you two options. You can either go ahead and share the bot with your organization by directly submitting the bot for admin approval, and PVA has done a great integration with Teams where once you go through the step-by-step guide in the PVA experience here, this bot will actually show up in the Teams admin center, and so your Microsoft Teams admin can go approve it for the bot to be used for the whole organization. Or we also have the second option here for you to share with your team. And in this case, you don't actually really need to go through the admin approval route. You simply just need to click Add to Teams. And this would make this bot available right inside of the Microsoft Teams App Store for your teammates to discover it. And so this is a great way for you to distribute your bot for any scenario you want. If you build an HR or IT bot that you want everyone in your org to use, you will go for the submit for admin approval route. If you just build an FAQ bot for your team or a bot to automate processes for your team, you can use the share of my team option here to add it to the team for them to find it. And once you've done it, then the bot will show up in the Teams App Store, and everyone can go find those bots easily and install for themselves to use it.
On the submit for admin approval, what actually happens if, you don't have to do it right now, but what actually happens that's different with that experience? What does that mean? Does that appear in every team within the organization?
Oh, that's a great question you bring out there. Actually, Matt, let me show this really quickly in the Teams App Store to explain this. So when you submit the bot for admin approval, once the admin approve, what you will see is that when you go to the build for your org tab here on the left nav in Teams App Store, you actually find out that Teams has two sections. So the ones that are approved by admin will show under this build by your org section over here. versus the one that you share with your team, they will show up in the section further down here in the build by your colleagues section. So if you want and this is by design because the ones that are approved by admin are more discoverable. The other great benefit, and so glad we're talking about the other great benefit to partner with your admin to roll a bot for org-wide is that we're seeing a lot of customers that deploy org-wide bots, but they're not really getting the engagement they're hoping for from their employees. And some of the great things you can do by partnering with your admin is that as the admin approves the bots in the team's admin center, they can also pre-ping the bot or pre-install the bot for everyone in their organization. And as a result of that, now instead of asking your employees to come to Teams App Store to find a bot, you will have the bot actually pre-ping the left rail for them. And so let's say if you feel like Ask HR or IT self-service or maybe facility operation lookup are important scenarios for your employees to have it at their fingertips, that's a great way for you to work with your admin to pre-ping those for them on the left rail.
Understand. Gotcha. Thank you.
Now let's look at the end user experience of how they would interact with the bot that we just showed you earlier in the demo. Let's go to the chat interface in Microsoft Teams. So over here, you can see that I've already gone ahead and installed the bot into my Microsoft Teams client. Here's the employee FAQ bot. So I'm going to go ahead and greet the bot here by saying hi to it. And then we're going to use the same scenario that we showed earlier, which is I'm going to request to talk to an agent over here. And it's going to ask me for a title. So I'm going to go ahead and give it the title of it. And I'm going to go ahead and say this is for demo for build a bot. Again, unfortunately, I had a typo there. But now this is actually going to trigger the part automate flow that we shared about earlier that's going to post an escalation into a channel. And so over here, if we go to Teams, this bot has been configured to post it into the expert channel under Build a Bot team. Now you can see that there's actually a new employee request coming in here with the title of Build a Board with my typo here. As you can see, this is a great way for agents who are part of like an expert in the organization that can come to help your end user. So they can notify in this channel here. You can see that there's a direct deep link to go ahead and chat with Michael Chow so they can assist them directly. And once they're done with it, they can also go ahead and resolve the request right on this view as well. So if I go ahead and say, I've already helped with Michael Chow on this demo request and I want to resolve it, once I mark as resolved, this will actually do a callback to mark this escalation request as being resolved. And so this way, when other agents come to the channel, it won't be redundant for them to help the same user again. And so hopefully this is a great small taste of how escalation works seamlessly well within Microsoft Teams by leveraging PVA and Part Automate. As I shared earlier, that this is a great way to handle all sorts of escalation for all kinds of scenario, whether it's HR, IT, facility, any of those. This is a great mechanism to handle the time when the bot is unable to help your end user.
And I guess once again, like because of that deep like integration with Teams and SSO, the context is basically maintained as part of that chat conversation as well. So you didn't really have to go figure out who had made that request. That was something that was automatically provided for you, correct?
Yes, Ken, you're spot on. Absolutely. The best part about this integration is because the bot knows who the end user is. So the bot knew that the escalation request was coming from Michael Chow. As the bot maker in this case, I didn't really have to do any AAD or authentication configuration. Instead, I just had it already in the offering canvas. And so so we believe that this will actually save a lot of the seasoned developers or bot makers out there from a lot of hurdles for these authentication scenarios.
Yeah, it's huge. It's one of my favorite features, just having wired up my own OAuth settings in the past for external use cases as well. So no, that's really cool. So obviously Teams, Power Virtual Agents, there's always something going on. Is there any sort of tidbits or upcoming sort of features that you can maybe give us a little bit of insights on?
Yeah. I'm happy to share a few things that we're looking at in our roadmap. So as folks are probably aware in today's demo, one of the really important part, I think, of how a bot plays a role in the Microsoft Teams ecosystem is that a bot that can answer questions, a bot that can take actions when requested by the user is really powerful. But really what completes that virtuous cycle is when a bot can notify the user when something happens. And this is a very broad use case. And if we look at Microsoft Teams and how the Teams client or platform is being structured today, that's really a role for the bot to take. You can imagine where, let's say, if a user has requested something from the bot that's going to take quite some time to be processed, it would be great for the bot to be able to come back after some time to notify the user, let's say that their approval request has finally been approved by their manager, right? Other scenarios such as, let's say, maybe during this challenging pandemic time, as we're going back to hybrid work, a lot of times maybe your facility hours are actually, volatile. And so maybe today, for some reason, certain buildings are going to get shut down. And now you can have a mean for your facility bot to reach out to everyone in your organization to tell them and say, hey, we're sorry that certain buildings are not available today. And so all these notification scenarios are definitely something that we are looking into supporting because we know how powerful a bot can play in this role. The other, the other thing that I want to give a sneak peek is really just making bot more, really allowing makers to distribute their bots to a more flexible target audience. So one of the things we've heard a lot from customers is, hey, PVA, you guys make it so easy to build a bot for a team and build a bot for your whole organization. But I really have a scenario where I really want to build a bot for a sub-org or, like, say, a dynamic group of people in my organization. And I'm happy to share that, that's also something that we're proactively looking into, which is allowing people to be able to share bots with a dynamic group of people. So once you build a bot, it doesn't really have to be tied to just a team or the whole organization. Instead, even the audience between a team and the organization can also be covered as well. And so that's something that we're also looking into. Last and not least, the thing that we really want to make better is really a bot for a team story here. And so as we showed today in the demo, once you build a bot for your team, you can let your teammates go find the bot in Teams App Store, install, and have private conversations with it. But one of the things I feel like is the missed opportunity right now is that, Teams, the reason they're called Teams is because there's so many teams in Microsoft Teams. And one of the great things about a bot in a team within Teams is that you can have a bot in a channel where your teammates can just interact with your bot directly without needing to really go have a personal conversation with it. And so, I'm happy also to share that, one of the big investments or features that we're looking into here is also how can we really make bots available in a channel? And so this way it becomes a more natural interaction model for your teammates to interact with a bot that you built for them. So these are the three key things that we're looking in the future. And, I can't wait, to really see, customers' reaction when we deliver those pieces.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to having you back once those ship, and you can come back go ahead and demo them.
I will definitely take up your offer for it. I'm happy to do that. Yeah. Before we head out, go try Power Virtual Agents in Teams today to build chatbots right inside Microsoft Teams from the Teams App Store, or visit aka.ms/PVA for Teams. And if you like the escalation experience that we showed today in the demo, where we post an adaptive card into a channel for experts to assist the end user and resolve right inside the channel, check out the new PVA Employee FAQ template at aka.ms/PVA Employee FAQ. Let's start building chatbots today. Happy bot building.
So thank you, Michael, for joining us. That's been fantastic. Really interesting to hear all about that. This has been Build-A-Bot. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave feedback in the chat. And we will see you again for another episode soon. Thanks for joining us.